Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Harnessing AI, a webinar series about Microsoft Teams rooms on Windows. Today, we have Lenovo as a guest. As always, we will have Michel Bouman present as well, although this particular day he is in the US attending the technical boot camp of Microsoft, but he has sent his virtual presence to tell you a bit more about Microsoft story. We also have Mauro, Basano, and Martin Sieg from Lenovo. And before we start, and this is becoming something that I'm trying to do on every session, I just want to throw in some stats just to help you build, whatever story to market that you need. These are stats that are coming from the Work Trend Index report, which is something that Microsoft does on a very regular basis and pulses, where technology is at and how people are reacting to that. Wanted to show this stat. So last week we talked about the hybrid work paradox, about the addressable space of video enablement in meeting rooms. Now this one is about leaders saying that they are looking into investing in technology and spaces. It's 45%. That's more than half. So that's a positive trend. So the recognition that technology needs to be changed in order to have better outcomes is definitely there. There's a bit discussing on culture, but by creating native solutions, platform-driven native solutions like Microsoft Teams rooms, you can actually take away a lot of the adoption elements, which helps. So let's address this in a positive way. And then this one is also very interesting to see. So if you look at that entire back to work, back to the office motion. If you look at how people are coming to the offices today, obviously some of the offices have not changed over the past years. So that's an opportunity for us as a channel, but also people are making decisions about technology, maybe with a plan, maybe without a plan. But what is the reality is that sometimes, or in this case, a lot of the times people feel like they're disconnected, even though the technology investment has been made. It might not cover their needs. So again, fuel that we can use in our conversations to accelerate technology adoption. Again, these are not my stats. You can find them online on the Microsoft documents. And again, this all comes down to a AI-driven. You could not load the presentation. That's not good. So I will try again. Don't leave me hanging. Here we go. Okay. This is not good. So I will do it differently. Apologies, people. Technology sometimes can fail. It's not meant to do it, but it does happen. So just a second. All right, I'm gonna try it like this. So let me know. Yes, here we go. So you've already seen this, right? So I'll skip it. The conclusion is Microsoft Teams builds an experience that connects everybody, and then it covers a couple of these requirements, right? With be it Microsoft Teams as a unified communications platform, or the extension into Microsoft Places, which is under the Teams Premium licensing model, or Copilot, which is obviously the AI that binds it all together. Now, a word from virtual Michel Bouman.
Thanks so much for having me. My name is Michel Bouman. I have the privilege to lead the EMEA channel business for Teams and Devices, which means that our team looks after the Teams Rooms business across the EMEA region. And that's such an exciting place to be in, especially now with so many features and co-pilots and agents all coming to this space. Teams Rooms has really become a multi-purpose device. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Before I do so, I just want to set the scene a little bit and take you on a little bit of a story of something that happened the other day. I ran into someone, and it was quite early, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And they were like, "I'm a little bit in a rush because I have to go to the office, and traffic is horrendous at the moment." And I was like, can't you work from home? And he was like, no, because I only have 2 work from home days, and I already had those on Monday and Tuesday, so I have to rush to the office and attend this meeting. And so I wished him a very nice day. And later that evening, I saw him again, and I asked him how did the morning go, and he was like, it was quite good. Although I must say that I was a little bit stressed. I realized that I didn't book a meeting room, and so as I was stuck in traffic, I booked that room on the go from my phone. But then when I finally came to the office, I realized that the room had been declined. It was a room with a Teams room setup, which he knows how to use. It's that one-touch join experience that we all come to love. But then he was forced to find a new room, and that new room didn't have all this advanced technology, and therefore he had to fiddle around with cables, and it took him a while to get his day started. And I asked him, but was the meeting successful? Did it start on time? And he said it did, but all of my peers were actually working from home that day. And he isn't the only one that's experiencing that. 49% of the people who work from the office report that they don't actually get to see the people that matter to them. We're spending billions and billions of euros and pounds and dollars every year because of unproductive meetings. And also, people don't really have an idea of how the office space is being used. And I think we all agree that flexible work, hybrid work, call it whatever you want to call it, is definitely here to stay. And that only increased, the pace of it only increased with the rise of artificial intelligence. And AI is not something that only a few people use. If we look at our own research, AI has come to work, and 75% of the people are currently using it at work already. And if you would ask them how many of those people are using commercial service, not too many people will raise their hand. Many of them are using free tools to do all this cool generative AI stuff. And that's actually a big security risk. And this is not just the younger generation. No, this is across generation, right? So whether you're Gen Z or a boomer, all of these people are bringing AI into work. And that's such a big security risk. And I think when we talk about Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot, that is something we need to fix right away. So what we've done is we brought Microsoft 365 Copilot chat in the Microsoft 365 experience, meaning that everyone now gets to use the latest models that are web grounded in a secure way, ensuring that you have the enterprise data protection, that you also have access to agents. Now, I'll tell you why that's relevant to rooms in just a second, but I want to ground us on the fact that AI is not just about technology, right? For me, AI is really about how we work and then also where we work. And that's where the AI powered workplace and that storyline comes into play. It's really about how do you ensure that people get to meet each other at the right location, at the right time when it really matters to them, but also making sure that they have access to the latest technology to ensure that it's almost a frictionless experience. Again, you don't want to fiddle around with devices and cables and adapters, and it takes about 7 minutes to start those type of meetings. No, you want every meeting space to be an easy one-touch join experience. And then also you want to be able to provide insights to IT admins and building owners to show them what parts of the office are being used for what and in what scenarios, and really help them to give those insights to make better decisions on what to do with office space. And that's where Teams Rooms really comes into play. I said before, Teams Rooms is no longer just a meeting device. And I say that with all respect to the previous experience that we had. Again, we all come to love that one-touch join experience. But it now also integrates with Microsoft 365 Copilot. We now have Facilitator Agent available on Teams Rooms. I'll talk about more on that in a second as well. We have the integration of Microsoft Places. The story I told earlier, that could have been avoided if they used Microsoft Places, because Copilot and Places will nudge you and tell you, hey, you haven't booked the room yet. Would you like to book a room for you? Also, it'll automatically rebook a room if that room has been declined. Again, making it so much more frictionless to go through your day. We haven't even spoken about digital signage yet, but through our partners at Zoco and AppSpace, you can now bring digital signage into your Microsoft Teams rooms. Now let's talk a little bit about Microsoft 365 Copilot and how that plays into the Teams room story. Because if you've seen me speak before, you've always heard me talk about the three most important pillars in running a successful hybrid meeting. Number one is having good audio. If there's no audio, there's basically no meeting. The second one is being able to pick up nonverbal cues, because 80 to 90% of all of our communication is nonverbal. And then the third one is being able to recognize people. And I'll give you an example on why that is so important. Let's say we're having a meeting and there's four of us, and for some reason I can't join. And during the meeting, you're discussing the future of Project X. And someone asks, so what do you feel? How do you feel about Project X? And the first person says, you know what? I don't think we should go through with this. I think it's a horrible idea. The second person says, I love the idea. Let's double down on it and make it even bigger. Now, if after the meeting I would go to the meeting transcript, or if I would ask Copilot what was discussed, what was the sentiment of Project X during the meeting, Copilot will actually say conference room 1245 loved it and hated it at the same time. So now I have to go back, right, and re-listen to that whole meeting again to figure out who said what during the meeting, which is very inefficient. And that's why I'm happy that we have speaker recognition in Teams rooms available in Teams rooms on Windows to ensure that it'll say person X or person one said this about the meeting, and then Sven said this about the project. That's really going to help you. Now, if we look at some of the biggest concerns in meetings in general, there are three things that are very important that really leak a lot of energy during the meeting. Number one is people showing up late and having issues to be brought up to speed. The second one is no clear action point. And then the third one is about no notes being taken at all. As human beings, we simply can't multitask, even though not everyone will agree with that. But that's where the Facilitator Agent is going to help you. So how this works is you add the agent to your meeting, and then you start the meeting. Hopefully, you do have an agenda of that meeting. That always helps. But then during the meeting, you simply enable Facilitator Agent right then and there. And what Facilitator Agent will do is so will not only take notes of the stuff that you're saying. By the way, people will get notified. It will not only take notes of what people have said during the meeting, but it will also write down all of the follow-up tasks. And this is like you brought your own facilitator person into the meeting to help you to write down all of the notes. And it's still a co-pilot, right? So you stay in full control and you can add or take out certain things the co-pilot wrote down. And I'm happy to let you know that the Facilitator Agent is now available for Teams rooms on Windows in public preview. During the public preview, you will not need an M365 Copilot license, so everyone can start using this experience by simply toggling the private preview and adding the Facilitator Agent from the Pro Management Portal that comes with your Teams Rooms Pro license. Now, with that, I just want to say thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of the session, and now let me hand it back over to the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michel. That's a very nice story, right? And Michel mentioned it. It's an MTR feature, an MTR on Windows feature, and we know Lenovo as one of the biggest PC brands, and they have a very strong smart collaboration portfolio. And somebody who knows way more about that than I do, we have Mauro. So Mauro, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sven, and thanks to Michel as well. As usual, really interesting. Let me introduce myself. I'm a technical consultant inside this vertical business unit inside Lenovo, dedicated to video conferencing and collaboration in meeting rooms or collaboration spaces in general. Following what Michel told us, the idea today is to share with you what are the results of the strategic alliance that we have between Lenovo and Microsoft, so these two huge companies, because we are sharing a common purpose, so to introduce innovation to really change the way we work. As you know, Lenovo is not only producing simply compute or hardware, but there is a lot of effort around these products. For example, in terms of remote management with our unique remote management platform that we call Lenovo ThinkSpare Manager. There is a huge focus with Microsoft and Intel around security in the device, in the cloud, in any segment of the network. And in terms of support, there are plenty of services included, bundled in our products to make the life of our customers and our partners easier. So far, Lenovo has been focusing on Windows-based Microsoft Teams Room platforms. And one of the advantages, of the many advantages of Windows-based solution is the plug-and-play interoperability. So the only requirement to make things work is that the elements, the peripherals, have to be certified by Microsoft for a Microsoft Teams Room. But then you can easily combine, for example, our ThinkSmart Core, the modular compute, with plenty of solutions depending on the specific characteristics of the meeting room. A few months ago, we have introduced the second generation of our bestseller, that is the Lenovo ThinkSmart Core. Second generation is not simply a refresh of the hardware of the first generation. It's really a new innovative product that is purpose-built as it was the first generation. So something that has been designed from scratch for video conferencing and collaboration in a shared space. From the selection of all the components of this compute. There is a high level of flexibility in terms of configuration. So in the channel, we have a default configuration that is based on the Ultra 5 Ultra 5, that means i5 in the new terminology by Intel, 16 gigabyte. But for customers that want to be ready to sustain features that Microsoft will introduce in the future, there is an enhanced version based on Ultra 7, 32 gigabyte. That is the most powerful compute for a Windows-based Microsoft Teams Room in the market at the moment. That is available as CTO. CTO config to order means a custom configuration that the partner or the customer itself is requesting to Lenovo, and the configuration is built with many options before the device is manufactured. The only difference is the lead time, that instead of being 1 week, it could be 3 weeks, but the process is very powerful. We have, as usual, integrated in the system cable management, cable retention, VESA mounting, that are, however, can be removed, and the ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 is really a little, very slim and little device. We have enhanced also the way this computer is interfacing with the front of room displays in the meeting room, and because we have integrated some added emulators. So in case of issues between the Windows compute and the front of room displays, because the protocols that are exchanged between those devices may be interpreted in not in the standard and proper way. Basically, the standard approach by our partners and resellers has been to use those little dongle that normalize the exchange of this information. So the idea is here to make things easier. We have integrated into the HDMI ports an added binder that can be enabled accessing the BIOS. Probably the biggest innovation behind the ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 is, of course, regarding AI, because it's the first Windows-based Microsoft Teams Room having an NPU. So NPU is a neural processing unit, so a unit that is let's say, dedicated to running AI locally in a power efficient way. So this is fully aligned with the overall strategy by Lenovo that we summarize in the words AI for all, where basically we need to be ready to run AI in any possible segment from the cloud to the edge. So since this second generation of the ThinkSmart Core is based on the 14th generation of the Intel core processors, so Meteor Lake, in the CPU there is a dedicated NPU, so a chipset that can run AI locally in a power efficient way, because that is the key element. Also the GPU, also the CPU in theory, can run any AI model. The problem is the power consumption. We have to remember that we are talking about devices that are up and running 24/7. And so it's the power consumption is definitely a key factor in selecting the proper device. So the presence of the NPU, that is definitely something future-proof. So the NPU today is not used because Microsoft has not yet introduced any feature or any agent that is running on that. But it's definitely something that will be used in the near future. Actually, it's a decision by Lenovo that is coming upon a request by Microsoft to have this AI accelerator in the hardware. By the way, the performance in general that are already very high in the ThinkSmart Core second generation, if you move the AI into the NPU, basically you are offloading the GPU and the CPU, and so there is an indirect increase in the performance of the device. Remember that we are talking about Windows-based system, and usually the life cycle, so the duration of this device is easily can reach easily 5-6 years, if not longer. Compared to other solutions in the market. So the reason why there is such a capacity in the system today is to make sure that in the next 5-6 years, whatever feature Microsoft is going to introduce, the Core Gen 2 will be able to sustain the capacity required by those features. There is also another interesting functionality, that is the integrated bring your own meeting. So the idea is the customer is definitely in favor of the Microsoft Teams Room user experience, click to join, lots of nice features, but they want to have that level of freedom that a BYOD, BYOM setup can provide. And so in that case, we are integrating both experience, MTR and BYOM, but in a smart way, because compared to solution based on an external USB switch, the interesting thing here is that when the user switches to BYOM mode, usually the system would start generating alarms because you would not see the camera, microphone, and so on, because they have become available to the laptop that has been connected. Here, the idea is to use virtual drivers so that basically you do not get any important alarm in, for example, the Pro Management portal. In terms of user experience, is quite easy. As soon as you plug the BYOM cable into the laptop, there is a pop-up on the touch controller on the console of the Microsoft Teams Room asking the user to confirm the switch to BYOM mode. If of course, the user clicks yes or simply waits for 30 seconds, then it will be the full BYOM experience from the laptop. You will have access to all the audio and video peripherals. In the meantime, you are going to charge the laptop. But if the user clicks on cancel, basically it would be like a content sharing inside the Microsoft Teams room, but through the USB-C cable. So the ThinkSmart Core Gen 2 has the flexibility of allowing content sharing from HDMI or from USB-C if the BYOM cable is used in that way. Another very interesting, unique selling point of the Lenovo portfolio is, as I said, around remote management and around our ThinkSware Manager. All the vendors in the market have their own remote management system that, of course, is dedicated to specifically the audio and video peripherals. So, for example, here in the Lenovo portfolio, when you have a ThinkSmart Bar 180, you can completely remotely configure the device. There is also a live camera view. You see immediately the effects of the changes in the setting. And so that is, of course, a characteristic of the ThinkSmart Manager. If we look at more or less the key features, I don't want to read everything, but just to highlight a few things. Here you see a remote restart software and hardware, because actually around the ThinkSware Manager there is an Intel infrastructure, and we are reusing the Intel technology to perform lots of actions based on the fact that the CPU, the processor in the device is belonging to the vPro family. vPro family means a lot of things, business grade and so on, but means remote manageability. There is in the CPU, in the processor, an application developed by Intel that allows ThinkSware Manager to perform remote access and perform actions. So, for example, the remote restart can be done basically in all the remote management system, including the Pro Management Portal, but that is based on communicating with an agent, so a software that is running on the operating system. What happens if the operating system, for any reason, is not running? In our case, no problem. We communicate directly with the CPU. We bypass completely the operating system. So that means that in terms of remote access, the Lenovo ThinkSware Manager platform is providing a very deep access, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Just for sake of completeness, many features are available free of charge, meaning that you can create your tenant, we call it organization. You can start registering your devices into ThinkSware Manager, so we say claim the device. And you can monitor the status, receive alarms, and many things. If you want some premium features, and the premium features are listed here, you need a license. We call the ThinkSware Manager Premium License. Good news is that when you buy a device from Lenovo, the first year premium license is always included. So really, it's a matter of registering your new device. Automatically in the backend, we assign the premium license for the first year to the device, and you can benefit from all the features that are premium as well. One of the premium features is, of course, the remote desktop access. We have two versions. We call them software KVM or hardware KVM. Software KVM is the typical, is based on an agent running on the operating system. The other hardware KVM is the one that is communicating directly with the CPU. But also with the software KVM, the idea here is not to replicate what you get already from Microsoft in the Pro Management Portal. The idea here is to do something different. And so, for example, in our remote desktop access, you can access the system also during meetings, something that is not possible in the Pro Management Portal simply because Microsoft has decided to avoid the privacy issues. But the problem is that we, as Lenovo, has received lots of requests from our customers asking to have remote access especially during meetings, because that is where support is required. And so we have a solution for that. Plus other differences, including the last one in the list is the terminal access. So if I don't want to interfere with the meeting that is in progress, I can run a command shell and perform installation, troubleshooting, maintenance, or whatever I want. Michel was talking about AI in the meeting room, and so it's a good opportunity for me to explain that also in terms of peripherals, we are fully aligned with the strategy by Microsoft. So, for example, our Lenovo ThinkSmart Bar 180 is an intelligent speaker. Intelligent speaker is a dedicated device, audio device, that can generate lots of data to be passed to Microsoft in the cloud to perform speaker attribution. As Michel said, the speaker attribution can now be done even without an intelligent speaker. But to be honest, according to Microsoft, the speaker attribution, reliability and precision is fine if you do not have an intelligent speaker. When you have 2-3 people and speaking one at a time, because if you start having 6-7 more people also talking over each other, then you need an intelligent speaker to have a proper speaker attribution. Another functionality is what Microsoft calls the multi-stream IntelliFrame camera with face recognition. The benefit here is for online participants that can see clearly who are the speakers and see also as a separate stream a full view of the meeting room. At the same time, when the camera is pointing to somebody through face recognition by Microsoft, there is the name of the person, even if the person is not speaking. And last, the integrated content camera in the Bar 180 that allows basically to reuse the old style physical whiteboard to be translated into a digital virtual whiteboard that can be shared. Let me finish now explaining or sharing with you what we believe is actually the journey of the customer to be able to reach the stage where they have a proper Microsoft Teams room with all the AI-enabled features and so on. So in general, the starting point, because of freedom or because of budget constraints, is the typical BYOD or BYOM setup, where basically you have the display, audio, video, peripherals, but then you need to bring your PC. There is, on the other side, a fully featured Microsoft Teams room, but with Microsoft, we have been working also something in the middle. We call the entry-level Microsoft Teams room, and we have a solution also for that intermediate step. Starting from the BYOM or BYOD setup, what are the key pain points? Usually are the fact that somebody is moving cables, removing cables, stealing cables, or stealing also a docking station, could be. There may be 2 cables, HDMI, USB, that can create confusion in some users. And also the fact that you need to power the laptop, otherwise the risk is that the laptop dies, the laptop battery dies during the meeting. So our solution is what we call the smart dock. The actual name is too long. That is providing a single cable solution. So really on the table you have a single USB-C cable, but because of cable retention, mounting and so on, everything is secured, everything remains untouched and always available. And by the way, it's based on universal standards, so it means that you can use any PC. Don't ask me to mention specific names, but PCs or devices that simply support the display port alt mode. That is a universal standard. No need to install drivers or firmware. And the advantage is also that instead, usually the problem of this setup is to have a long USB-C cable. But in this case, you have at least 5 meters from the peripherals and the display to the docking station. And then in the box, you have 2 meters of USB-C cable from the docking station to the laptop. In let's say we are testing also third-party cables, and I'm sure we will be able to provide a recommendation soon. So, for example, the docking station, of course, can work whatever peripherals you have. If you want to use Lenovo peripherals, if we are talking about a huddle room, 3-4 people, there are solutions based on the Lenovo 4K Pro camera, Lenovo Go wired speakerphone, entry level, but however certified for Teams, could be an interesting solution. If you have a room size a little bit larger, then you can use also peripherals that are more performant, like Jabra or Epos. Of course, there is an enhanced step that is based on our ThinkSmart Bar 180, because in that case, for example, you get speaker attribution also for Copilot, also in a bring your own meeting setup. You have intelligent meeting space to basically define the perimeter, where you want the camera to track frame and so on. And basically you are preparing the room to the next step, that is with a Microsoft Teams room. So in this case, the solution in the context of entry-level Microsoft Teams room is what we call the tiny kit, with the USB controller, HDMI ingest, and so on. You get lots of features simply because you have moved to a Microsoft Teams room. It's definitely a big step ahead, not only in terms of user experience, but also in terms of security and manageability that are very important. This solution may make sense if it is associated, for example, to a basic MTR license, free of charge, maximum 25 rooms, but in the context of SMBs, could be an interesting solution. If you are not coming from a bring your own device setup and you want to combine these entry-level MTR, again, you can find entry-level solutions, for example, our Lenovo ThinkSmart Cam, associated again with, for example, Jabra or Epos peripheral. Okay, that was the story. Now I want to hand over to my colleague Martin, who will talk to you about some promotions.
Thank you very much, Mauro. And let me quickly share my screen as well. So here we go. So basically, we are launching a cashback promotion. It will be working so that if you take some old equipment, some old room systems down at customer site and replace with a Lenovo system, we will give you up to approximately €200 in cashback. It differentiates a bit. So if the customer have Lenovo already, then we will give like €115. If it's a non-Lenovo product, then we will give the €195 in cashback. It will be pretty simple. So we will have a landing page where you just submit that you are taking some old equipment back. And especially nowadays when all devices using Windows 10, which is all devices running on a Windows platform or an Intel platform of generation 7, because that one cannot be upgraded to Windows 11, which means that it won't have the same AI capabilities as newer systems. So to encourage this, and I mean, for an example, it is the Lenovo Hub 500 that is running on generation 7. It's the HP Slice, it's the Intel, some of the Intel NUCs. So there's a lot of systems out there from the beginning when we were selling Skype for Business systems / Teams Room systems that is running on the old processor. And this one will basically, if you do deals today, it will be as part of this program. But the program landing page should be launched officially within the next week or two. Just a quick comment to sum up some of the things that Mauro said. We have launched and the distributors will have in stock within the next 3-4 weeks the Lenovo ThinkVision 55 and 65 inch. This is called the E series. E stands kind of for entry model, but I will say that it has a lot of benefits on the display market. So one of them, these are meeting room screens, not digital signage displays. So we don't have a built-in digital signage player. But for meeting rooms, we have done a lot of great stuff. Like for this one, we have put in 28% haze, which means it has a matte surface. So you won't have all that reflection from lights or sunlights and windows. We made a USB-C dock integrated into the screen. So as a bring your own device solution, you just connect your laptop with a USB-C, your laptop will be charged, and you will have access to content sharing. If you have connected cameras or speaker bars or anything to the screen, you will get access to those as well. And then, because of course this has to be part of the whole MTR business family, then we made a slot in up here for we can mount the ThinkSmart Core or the tiny PC directly to the screen and make it as an integrated part of the Teams rooms. The screens will also be possible to manage through the ThinkSmart Manager. So for our customer base, they can have one vendor in all their meeting room and handle everything from one platform and have one point of contact within service. These arriving pretty shortly. Then we do already have touchscreens in 65, 75 and 86 inch in most markets. Where these are unique versus most things out there is that you will buy like a full solution in a box. So you have a 8-meter approved speaker bar in the bottom, microphones on top, and a camera included in the box. There's a wall bracket. There's even a content sharing dongle included. And pricing here is, I would say, pretty aggressive. So, you could almost say that you would get the touch functionality for free if you have to select a standard, for an example, 65-inch screen and a video bar and some wireless content sharing. Then the pricing of these can be super competitive to that. So just quickly, and again, these can be managed through the ThinkSmart Manager system. Everything has 3 years warranty and so on. So all products here goes pretty well hand in hand. And that was my 2, maybe 4 minutes.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Mauro. Really good, interesting portfolio, quite versatile and fueled with AI, which is obviously really good. So, sorry, coming back to this, I was about to reference the E65 and E55 as a new addition to the portfolio, because when you're building a meeting room or a collaboration space, the video and audio solution is one part of it, but you will need a display. It might be a big one, small one. You might need projector or LED, depending on the type of room. Potentially content cameras, room booking panels. Just know that at Maverick, we can also help you bring together that entire solution based upon the Lenovo core offering. Now, we are here to support, and we have a couple of services that I would like to highlight. And each session, I want to go a bit deeper into a specific one. So if you're not aware about this, but this is very relevant if you look at Lenovo and MTR on Windows deployment, we can help you with the pre-staging element of rooms. We can update the Windows system, not for the Hub 500. We need to swap those out. But if you're buying a room system and there is a discrepancy between the latest version, we can update that prior to delivery for you. But also with white glove deployments on autopilot, we can help you with harvesting and making sure that the autopilot part of the deployment is set up prior to delivery, which will help you as a partner expedite the market, but also give a better experience to your customers. Again, these services are running across Europe. A third one that I want to pick out on this is if you are a type of partner that needs help with, let's say, the logistic element or the installation element, we do have third-party services that we can put on top of that. If you are missing a bit of expertise in, let's say, configuring the tenant for Microsoft correctly, or making sure that every admin center feature is set up to enable the AI modern workplace, we can also have consultancy services on that we bring alive across Europe. Lastly, but not leastly, this is going on right now. This is the Converged Communications Partner Technical Bootcamp. I know you cannot click on the link because I'm sharing with presentation and not through Teams share, but I will make the link available in the chat right after. If you want to have a bit more information about the technical deployment, this is a Microsoft course, which can get you the technical technical and sales badge. Also, we'll be running a lot of AI events around Microsoft Teams rooms in the coming months. This will all happen in June. So we have the date locked for UK, Sweden, Denmark, and Germany and the Netherlands to be confirmed. But keep an eye out on our social media. Keep an eye out on the communication from Maverick, because we will be diving really deep into the technical element about Microsoft Teams rooms. And then as well, I wanted to share this with you. I'm going to keep it up a bit longer because I realized last time that I actually took the slide down quite quickly. But you can snapshot or take your smartphone out and take a picture of the screen. This QR code will bring you to a form. That form you can fill in, and then you can request a callback, a demo in our solution centers, or just to have a conversation about the opportunity with Lenovo, Microsoft, and Teams rooms, or collaboration in general. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, virtual Michel. And thank all of you for joining, and hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.